Hi, thanks for taking just a couple minutes to check out this video on the COAD, Community Organizations Active in Disaster for Napa County. It's a mouthful, and you might wonder, why do we even need a COAD? Well, we didn't even think we needed a COAD until 2014 when an earthquake devastated Napa County. And then a group of people from the foothills who had a COAD came and said, you need a COAD. And we learned that there is such an organization that we could create that would organize all of these community organizations to be active in disaster. And that's what has happened since then. Things got started by the time 2017 rolled around and fires devastated both sides encircling Napa Valley. We were in a much better position to give aid to people where they needed it, when they needed it. All sorts of services, which you'll hear about in this video. And we've only continued to improve, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. But for now, sit back and enjoy to hear what we do and what you can be a part of if you choose to join us.
Since the 2014 earthquake, Napa County has experienced ongoing disasters, including tragic fires in 2017 and in 2020, not to mention a global pandemic that we're all too familiar with. Any one of these disasters can take its toll on one's mental and spiritual health. But our community is dealing with compounded grief, having experienced back-to-back emergencies. COAD organizations have bonded together to increase capacity to meet the growing needs of our community members. Over the past 2 years, COAD has grown to over 100 organizations strong. So what is COAD? It's an organizing body that provides leadership to the non-governmental response. Our efforts complement the work of government, primarily the county and the first responders. COAD builds on existing resources to meet the needs of the community. COAD's founding mission provides the foundation for our work. COAD develops and enhances partnerships for communication, coordination, and collaboration amongst the whole community, including nonprofit and faith-based organizations, government agencies, and the private sector during all phases of disaster, response, recovery, and preparedness.
Hi, I'm Celeste Giunta, the current director for COAD. So the next question is, how does COAD accomplish its work? Well, it's through a lot of communication, collaboration, and coordination. I've been the director now for a little over 2 years, and during that time, 18 months have been spent actively responding to or recovering from a disaster. And that includes the pandemic, as well as the two 2020 wildfires. What's amazed me during my tenure has been the commitment and camaraderie of our COAD agencies. They have been ready to come together at a moment's notice to collaborate as a COAD team. We collaborate by forming into subcommittees, and in those subcommittees we identify community needs as well as gaps in services, and then we create common goals and solutions for addressing those needs. We also make sure that our efforts are well coordinated so that we avoid any duplication of services, and that in turn allows us to maximize the resources available to support the community after a disaster. So to further improve our effectiveness, we really leverage our role as a liaison in the county's Emergency Operations Center. That role allows us to provide timely vetted information to our subcommittees to improve their effectiveness, as well as allows us to effectively coordinate with the county. So during 2020, COAD was able to deliver an incredible level of impactful services to those in need. A couple of examples include our Emergency Financial Assistance Subcommittee, which had about a dozen agencies involved, worked to deliver close to $5 million in rental and other assistance provided by funders to over 3,300 COVID-impacted households. Additionally, our subcommittee focused on individuals with disabilities and older adults was able to develop a network that reached 12,000 vulnerable households to provide them with critical preparedness information as well as resources.
We're from the Up Valley Family Centers. I'm Jenny Ocón, Executive Director.
And I'm Indira López, Program Director.
We've been members of the COAD from day one, and I think one of the reasons why it's been so important to us is because The COAD allows for coordination across many different nonprofits countywide. So wherever disaster may be hitting or impacting, there is good, clear communication and coordination about what's needed on the ground and how we can help support the community in its time of need.
For example, Jacqueline is a single mother with 2 children. She lost her job during the pandemic and she was evacuated twice during the fire season. Unfortunately, she didn't have any means to survive with her family, but thank you to the COAD and all the many resources that we were able to provide, she was able to survive and provide, and get clothes and food for her children.
Hi, I'm Michelle Gruppe. I'm the Executive Director for Cope Family Center, and I've been a member of the COAD since inception, and I am a member of the Executive Committee. So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about why the COAD is important and why you should invest your time and energy in the COAD. I recall saying to a colleague after my first meeting in early 2017, I don't have time for one more meeting or another collaborative. But the fires in 2017 opened my eyes to the importance of COAD's work, and that belief and support in our collective work has only gotten stronger over the years. COAD builds community. During a disaster, our members come together in partnership with the county and businesses to pool our knowledge and resources to help those most in need. COAD members coordinate access to food, mental health services, emergency financial assistance, support for animals, large and small, vulnerable residents who have special medical needs. And these relationships are deepened and sustained as we rebuild and recover. COAD agencies provide support for rebuilding homes, for preparing go kits for the next disaster, setting up neighborhood response networks. COAD members are some of the best people I know. So welcome to the COAD, and thank you for helping to build a resilient Napa County.
Parents Can provides education and support to families of children with disabilities in Napa County. And as Executive Director, I never imagined that the last 7 years we would be so focused on disaster management that it has become a core part of our operations. It is in collaboration with COAD that we are able to support the most vulnerable of our community members during disaster. As with all disasters during the pandemic, Parents Can made well-check calls to families. We found many families that were struggling, but one had a particular need that we needed some help with. Both parents had lost their job during the pandemic. They were raising 2 young children, an infant and a child with autism, and were caring for elderly parents. Neither parent had a car, and now they had no income. They had no way of accessing food for their family, and they were afraid to leave the house because of the virus. It was through our COAD connections that we were able to come up with a creative solution of delivering food straight to their door, which was quickly extended to serve another 40 families in our community. It is truly with COAD's effort that we're able to help families and individuals in our community survive through disasters.
Within COAD, we know that every minute we spend on preparedness is worth many hours of response work. Research tells us that being socially connected to one's neighbors greatly enhances our ability to survive and recover from a disaster. And COAD is really committed and dedicated to preparedness and building community resilience. We've just begun implementing a new program called Map Your Neighborhood with the goal of bringing neighbors together so that they can identify their neighborhood strengths and vulnerabilities and develop a systematic plan for addressing those and building more self-reliance in response to a disaster. So far, we've had about 30 neighborhoods become engaged in some way in Map Your Neighborhood, and we continue to spread the word and support organizing efforts through our group called the Leaders Council, which meets every month. And we are just excited to see how this particular initiative can grow in the next year.
Well, I hope you enjoyed hearing from some of my friends and colleagues who are also a part of this COAD experience. We are really proud of the work that we've done, and we invite you to enjoy it and get involved in it as well. Locking arms with fellow members of the community, making a very big difference when it is needed the most. If you want to be a part of this with your organization, we welcome you into this incredible organization. And if you want to fund this thing, then we really welcome you because we need all the help we can get to make a big difference. So please consider COAD one way or another, and we look forward to partnering together with you.